Please join me in welcoming Danielle Allen as we all work together to restore Massachusetts Democrats to the corner office next fall.
Thank you, Mavis. Thank you, party leaders, for the hard work making it possible for us to gather safely. Good afternoon, Democrats. We all feel that this is an age of anxiety and despair, a time of adversity and adversarial politics. In fact, we stand at a hinge in history. This is a moment of opportunity for us to seize. The pandemic unstitched our world. We have the chance to stitch it anew. The time is here to build a renewable energy economy that brings sustainability and climate justice. The time is here to build an inclusive, dynamic economy across the whole Commonwealth to connect everyone to opportunity and security. The time is here to secure a foundation for health equity and community wealth building for all. The time is here to secure confidence in our democracy by proving our democracy can deliver for all of us and for our most pressing needs. The time is here for transformation. The revolution started in Massachusetts. The transformation should start here too. I ask for your support in leading it from the corner office. Let's say goodbye to drifting along incrementalism from someone who would rather starve government than steer it strategically. The transformation we need requires hard work and creative strategic investment in basic building blocks: housing, transportation, schools, good jobs, and justice. But the transformation starts from a moral commitment. To paraphrase the poet Reggie Gibson, let's not play oblivious. We have the longest nurses' strike in history, an opioid epidemic that continues unabated, and in Chelsea, the highest municipal COVID mortality rate in the country. It's time for us to reimagine ourselves as one Commonwealth. From Pittsfield to Plymouth, Worcester to Haverhill, North Adams to Provincetown, we need to dig in together, work together on behalf of all of us. We are building a movement for transformation. Our huge problems require a governor with energy and strategic vision, but they also require sustained, powerful commitment from grassroots activists like you. Join us. Together, we can't be beat. For 20 years, I've been building teams and driving strategic creative change. It's what I was made to do. I come from a family with a deep and long tradition of working on behalf of democracy. My great-grandmother was president of the League of Women Voters in Michigan in the 30s. My granddad helped found one of the first NAACP chapters in Northern Florida in the 40s. Where I grew up, regardless of what your day job was, the expectation was always that you were also working in the community on behalf of your community, on behalf of securing empowerment, rights, democracy for all. This is what I have always done. It got super personal in 2009. That's the year I lost my cousin, Michael. Michael was probably the first baby I ever held when he was born in 1979. In 94, when he was 15 and I was a year out of college, he was arrested on a first arrest for an attempted carjacking in Southern California. He served 12 years, and when he got out, I was what I always call cousin on duty, trying to help with housing and school and jobs. I'll never forget sitting with Michael in a hot car on a hot summer's day, weeks after his release, looking at a map, trying to figure out how to put the pieces together. The only job that would consider him in one place, miles away, the only community college program with a path forward for him, miles away in a third direction, the only place with access to affordable housing. Public transportation in between, slow and unreliable. I sat in that hot car with that feeling of dread in my bones, that feeling that you have when you think, I just don't know how these pieces will come together. For Michael, the pieces didn't come together in the end. 2 years after he was first released, he was killed by somebody he met while he was in prison. That was my life's turning point moment. I felt a deep sense of personal failure for Michael's death, but it was a time for digging in and asking the question of why is it, as a society, we are doing such a bad job of helping so many young people make a transition to a healthy adulthood, and especially young men of color. I jumped into justice reform. I became an advocate for cannabis legalization and other aspects of taking apart the war on drugs. That taught me we needed a healthier democracy to get that important work done, a democracy with full voice and representation for everyone. I dug into democracy reform. I became an advocate for ranked choice voting. Same thing when the pandemic hit. I jumped in. I pulled together a big network of experts and practitioners, mayors, and community advocates. Together, we put together the first national policy roadmap advocating for a real ramp-up of public investment in testing and contact tracing. We got policy into federal legislation, and President Biden signed one of our policies into existence via executive order. But that's just the beginning of the story, because the time for transformation is here. The time is here. The pandemic made it crystal clear that we stand at a hinge in history. The time is here. I've been driving change for 20 years with respect for my elders and pleasure and pride in the courage of millennials. I stand at the hinge of history. I believe it's time for me to step up and step forward and serve. The time is here. I ask for your support. Please don't delay considering your options. The single most precious resource we have for beating the Baker-Polito administration is time. I'm not waiting. I'm working on transformation. Will you join me? Please sign up at allenforma.com. It will take all of us to win the transformation we deserve. Thank you.